Can you ensure that your microphones are off? The meeting is now being recorded and will be made available on the Comhairle's website following this meeting. I'm ruling item 6 as urgent to allow the board to consider the matter prior to the next meeting of the board. However, we will take that along with the police report.
Just as members will be aware, we emailed out to say the chief superintendent was hoping to be here today, but he's got a clash in the diary, so we'll reconvene to next week. And obviously, with the antisocial behaviour strategy coming out quite late, the chief social work officer is also unavailable today and sends apologies. So we will consider both these items at the reconvene meeting. It also allows members sufficient time to consider the strategy. I appreciate you only just got that yesterday, and it also means we can consider it when Police Scotland are present, which will probably help the deliberations.
Thank you, Derek. I refer you now to the minutes of the meeting of the 18th September and seek approval for these minutes. Do I get approval? Thank you. I'll now ask if there are any declarations of interest. Members are asked to declare any interest they have in any items of this agenda, and it would be helpful if they expressed why they are declaring an interest in the item concerned. Members in the chamber, can you please do so now by pressing your microphone or remotely through Teams by using the raised hand function. No declarations of interest. Thank you. I'm now going to ask for the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service performance report against the fire and rescue plan for the Western Isles, and a report by Mr. Scott Gibson. Is it Scott? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Scott.
Excellent. Thanks, convener, and good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, members. Good to see you all again. And first and foremost, apologies for not managing to attend in person today. Just with clashing as others clashing diaries. I'm over on the mainland today. So I'll start by saying things have been progressing quite well over the reporting period within the area. So what I'll do is Group Commander Campbell in attendance. I've not seen. Can I just check? Yes, that's fine. Perfect. So what I'll do is I'll begin by covering some areas of ongoing work over the reporting period in regard to SFRS, and go through the main points within the report before handing over to Group Commander Campbell for some of the more local context that he would like to add. I would like to start the meeting by just saying that it's with regret, I suppose, more than anything else, we're losing Group Commander Campbell after this meeting. This will be his last scrutiny meeting for us. He's been member of staff up here in the Western Isles, Orkney and Shetland for us for the last 6-7 years, and he's due to retire early next year, and he'll be sorely missed across the Western Isles where he's been for the last 4 years. And I would just like to put on the record my thanks for his work in the area across that period of time and the progress that we've made across the area. I would also like to welcome, we've got a new Chief Fire Officer who started this month in the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. So wish Chief Officer Ross Haggart all the best in his retirement, and welcome Chief Fire Officer Stuart Stevens into the role of Chief Fire Officer for the service. And he's followed up by the Deputy Chief Fire Officer, who again just started, as Andrew Watt. So I would just inform members of that. I'll talk a little bit about the strategic review programme. So you may recall our pre-consultation earlier this year, which we are now in the process of gathering all the information from and narrowing down the options prior to going out to full consultation. We do see that full consultation being ready to progress in late spring, early summer, and I'll keep members updated on that, and we will start to be engaging with boards, members, partners, staff when that time comes. What I would say is I don't anticipate at this stage any major changes for the Western Isles. However, that's not to say that further down the line we won't look at the delivery of the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service across the area. But this is to secure the future of the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service over the next 20 to 30 years. But in immediate terms, I don't see any changes coming to the area through that strategic review programme. Also, I'll just like to mention the strategic and local fire and rescue plans. So we wrote to members last year to inform you that the SFRS board had made the decision to postpone the development of the new local fire and rescue plans. And this was due to the fact that, like all public bodies, the challenging financial and operational circumstances we found ourselves in, and with the pending strategic review programme, we felt it was the right thing to do and include all that work within the new local fire and rescue plan for Western Isles. Also, in the meantime, we're carrying out the development of our next strategic plan, and that's began now with the aim of finalising that in summer 2025. And it's from this point that myself and the other local senior officers across Scotland will develop the local fire and rescue plans for each of their areas, taking into account the local priorities for the Western Isles, based on any potential changes and the new priorities within that strategic plan. So I thought we'd just provide a brief update on that, and we'll share a more definitive timeline as it comes through going forward. However, as with anything, in the meantime, thanks for your patience, and if there's any concerns or anything that you would like to question on that, please do get in touch. Okay, and on to the report itself. So I'll trust members have scrutinised the report, and again, I'm pleased to say, as I tend to say regularly at these meetings, that on the whole, it's a steady picture with no real areas of concern for myself. The figures across the whole area are very low, which is really, I would say, is probably a trend in Western Isles. Again, I keep saying this, but it highlights the great preventative work that we're carrying out. I have been out visiting the local crews over the last few weeks and months, and I just continue to be overwhelmed by the professionalism and dedication that they provide. And it is very clear to me that the work they do is for the good of their communities, and that's why they join the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service as a secondary employment. I would also like to highlight the fantastic availability across the islands over the reporting period, which again just highlights the dedication of the crews, given the numbers of some of the staff numbers that we'll have in some areas. And we do continue to focus on recruitment and retention in all areas. Members will note the current anomaly that we've got with the recording of Valtos and Lochmaddy, which we plan to remedy when we receive our new availability system through our control systems, and that'll take account, that'll bring more accurate figures in regards to those two particular stations. The only other figure which shows is quite low is our second appliance in Benbecula, which is currently down on establishment with added absence numbers. However, we should see an improvement in this with a couple in the recruitment pathway and others becoming fully qualified. At this point, it's probably worth highlighting the fantastic work from the team, from Dougie and his team around across the whole area, which has seen a whole new cohort that you'll see in the report start work with the service, who've since completed their initial breathing apparatus training course, thus providing the area with increased response numbers. And all these courses have all been managed to run them all at a local level, so bringing the resources into the local area to provide that facility. And then finally, you'll see at the rear of the report some of the great collaborative work from the teams over the reporting period. And I would just highlight some of the national recognition that we've received from the initiatives that saw us roll out CPR training to the sports clubs. You'll probably be aware of that happened in Skye. We've also been utilising this as an opportunity to recruit into the stations, but more importantly, it does see a large number of people within the community equipped to assist when someone's in need life-saving interventions. That's all I had for myself on the report. I'll just pass over to Group Commander Campbell and see if he's got anything he'd like to add from a local context.
For his kind words there, and also thanking the elected members for the support I've had in my 4 years over here. It's a very friendly approach to what we do, and I've always found everybody very approachable when I've come in and asked questions of you, and there's been very respectful questioning when I've been in the chamber, so I do very much appreciate that. To go through some of the highlights in the report, so I'd look at priority 1, promoting fire safety and well-being. So page 8 on that has got the charts for our accidental dwelling fires, associated casualty numbers, and delighted to say that the numbers are down on the 3-year average and below the national average. I think I've said this every time in here is, we've got to kind of caveat that slightly by saying that the numbers are so low that it doesn't take much of an increase or decrease to show quite a large change in a graph. So it's worth noting if there is an increase or decrease, it can be related to that. Just one instant we have. If we can move to page, move to page 10 for the home fire safety visits. Delighted to say we've got our full-time community safety advocate has returned to work after maternity leave, and there's a healthy increase in the numbers as well, which is bringing us back to almost pre-COVID times as well. And also working very hard alongside the partners to increase the referral numbers that we're getting in home fire safety and increase the safety for people within their home, particularly again targeting the vulnerable people in the communities. Priority 2 then we've got there on non-domestic fire safety on page 11. Again, not a lot to report on that, which I'm glad to say, and a slight decrease in that 3-year average. The team that's involved in our fire safety enforcement have carried out 15 audits in this recording period, and within that they've also done 100 or completed 100 holiday let applications, which is impressive numbers. On page 12 then, under our UFAS unwanted fire alarm systems or signals, on page 12 there's a clear reduction since we introduced the UFAS policy, which we would expect. Obviously that was the reason for the process that we went through, and I'm delighted to say we're bringing these numbers down, which is obviously saving us money, reducing the carbon emissions and reducing that road risk, but we'll continue to work with our partners to bring the numbers down further where we possibly can. Under priority 4 then, resilience and preparedness, we're still under the trial period for joint mobilising. We'll continue to utilise this when we have to, but again, as I touched on the last scrutiny we try to avoid using that and actually get the appliances out from their home stations. Looking at the availability, generally it's very positive figures. So we've got 4 of the stations are over 90% availability, and a further 7 over 70%. So going to the table on page 16, it was touched on by the LSO, but the situation with Becula, definitely a positive direction we're moving in, with the 2 candidates currently grafting in the snow as it is, doing their task and task management course currently at Stornoway Station, and that's along with a further 4 from Lochboysdale, 1 from Lochmaddie and 1 from Ness, again adding to these recruitment numbers, which is positive and hopefully will make a difference to Becula's second appliance availability. On the availability, recruitment has a direct impact on that. So again, we're continuing to excel in recruitment numbers, with quite incredible 43 firefighters being added to the staff role since August 2022. These are figures, to be honest, that anyone in Scotland would be very proud of and probably quite envious of as well. And again, as touched on by the LSO, I would like to personally thank the local team for their hard work and dedication in increasing these numbers and providing them for the local community. And this will undoubtedly make the community safer going forward and increase our availability. Basically taking us on to the last pages there, 18 to 20, as again was touched on a bit of by the local area manager, was the CPR and defib training that's been carried out in the local fire stations in conjunction with Lucky to be here. The initiative was pushed on partially due to a colleague of ours who suffered a cardiac arrest at a sports event. Amazingly, there was 2 firefighters in attendance and a public access defib. Unfortunately, the outcome was very positive, but it certainly pushed us forward in our attempts to train more and more people in this life-saving skill. And obviously this is going to have an increased impact on community safety as well. As was also touched on by the LSO, we will use this and we won't shy away from it as being a recruitment drive as well. We're taking sports teams into the fire station, introducing them to the environment, and hopefully that will reap rewards in the long run. where we see, again, increased numbers and increased availability. Also part of that, page 18 to 20, we've got the COMA plan exercise that we took part in and agreed to place or took part in some of the planning for that. 50 participants took part in that with a very successful exercise, again, exercising that COMA plan for the SGM, excuse me, for the SGM plant. That covers all the elements I've got from the report. I'd just like to add a thank you to the crews, our own crews and the partners that are working in this weather today and continuing with a search, local search, as everybody's probably aware of. So just a thank you from me for everybody taking part in the search. And that's basically everything from the report, and happy to take any questions.
Just on behalf of the board, thank the staff at Robertson Road for their hard work, really difficult circumstances, and indeed to all the emergency services who are out and looking so hard for this missing person. So you have our thanks and our gratitude, and all the very best in your retirement. It's not too shabby. Thank you. There's no further questions. Oh, sorry, Callum.
Thanks, Chair. Just a question over defib training. I'm seeing you put it, for instance, now my ward, Lochatrua, there's an extra defib going in, and there's quite a number of them. And a number of people have been asking me about training. How do they access training? Maybe I should go to the wrong persons, but since you mentioned defib, I might as well. Is that right? Is he the one? Are you the one, Angus, that we go to? And you...
Sorry, Carl. Yes, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, lucky to be here involved with your installation and back, Callum. So there will be a training team going in to train once the equipment is in place.
Oh, yeah, that's good, because I have quite a number of people, even to the existing ones, those who underwent training quite a while ago. Maybe they'll be looking for refreshing. I would certainly look for refreshing as well, you know.
Absolutely, so, yeah. And I would like to thank the fire service for the initiative as well, for the joint initiative with Lucky to be here. It was very well attended at every station, basically. I think all sports, football teams benefited, fire service staff benefited. And I'd also like to thank the fire service for the assistance they do give Lucky to be here in the training throughout the whole of the islands. And just before I leave, my own personal gratitude to Mr. Campbell as well, and wish him all the best for his retirement.
Chair, can I also thank you for the report, because your reports are easy to read, not some of the reports and they're very informative. But thanks for it.
Scott Gibson online, please.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, it was just really to come in and just offer out that service. I mean, it's something that we're quite proficient with now, the length of time that we've been doing it in regard to the defib training. So, I mean, community safety team can assist with that training as well. It's absolutely beneficial, and it's absolutely great to see the local communities being able to assist each other in that hour of need. So if there is anything that we can do as a service to boost that training, if you're requiring any assistance with it, then please get in touch with the local team, and quite happy to let the teams go ahead and carry that out. Thanks.
Are there any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thanks a lot. We will now go on to performance management and an outcome delivery report by the Chief Officer of Assets and Infrastructure. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Mr. Gibson.
Sorry, Chair. It was just to say Group Commander Campbell can stay in attendance, but I've got another meeting that I need to attend. So if it's okay with the board, I'll drop out and leave Group Commander Campbell in the room.
Thank you. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Colin.
Thanks, Chair. As members will note, the report covers all of assets and infrastructures. The items relevant to the Community Safety Board relate to consumer and environmental services and are outlined at paragraphs 7.13 and 7.23. The services' primary focus is working towards their annual service plan, and some examples of activity are shown in the report, including 150 food interventions, 300 service requests, and issuing over 350 licenses and registrations in the period. Due to the impact of the cyber attack last year, it has not been possible to provide a mid-year revenue monitoring outturn report at this stage, and it is hoped the information will be available at the next series of meetings. So happy to take any questions.
No questions from the chamber or online. This report is for noting and presents the half-year progress. Insofar as the board's interests are concerned, do members agree to note the report as noted? Thank you. The antisocial behaviour order, as informed by Mr. Mackay, will be presented next week with the police report. Jack Libby will speak to that report in due course. And that, folks, is the end of our community safety meeting. The next scheduled meeting of the committee will be on the 28th of November.
Yeah, we're formally adjourning and we'll
adjourn and we'll reconvene. Yes, we'll reconvene on the 10 a.m. on the 28th. But the next scheduled meeting is the 29th of January, 1995. Thank you very much, folks, for your attendance.
Thank you. Bye-bye.